Hey, this is Brent with Lykins Motorsports. Happy Friday. Happy 4-day weekend coming up. This is our 496 FE with the Weber carburetors. If you remember from a couple of videos back, we had a lifter failure. And finally got this one all the way back together and took it to the dyno today. And got to come home with a reward, a fully dynoed engine, and making good horsepower to boot. So no issues this time. Just a very happy engine. I am not a very good Weber tuner. I just don't have experience in that. I also didn't have any parts to tune with, so we didn't get the air fuel ratios dialed in exactly, but good enough that we were able to get some really good pulls on it. And what happens with situations like this is, if I send it multiple states away and get it in the car, and you got hood clearance and a tight engine bay and that sort of thing, the air fuel ratios will change regardless. So I don't feel horrible about not dialing in the air fuel ratios. It will need some tuning in the vehicle, and especially if you get filters on here and that sort of thing. So I'm going to go over the dyno sheets and just our typical pattern of going through. Just as a reminder, we are turning water pump, alternator, full front end drive on this engine. So we'll just get started. Oil temperature, if you remember, we like to see a very minimal gain, a couple degrees or so, and we've got roughly 6 or 7 tenths of a degree increase. We were keeping the water temperature about 160, 170 on this one. Oil pressure up and up and up, which is what we like to see. Air fuel ratios were a tad on the lean side, and I've ran some race engines at here, so it's not at this air fuel ratio, it's not dangerous or anything, but I would probably like to see it closer to 12.5 or 13 in the car. And like I said, with a closed engine bay and air filters and that sort of thing, it'll probably richen it on up. And for the good stuff, 603 horsepower at roughly 5,500 RPM, and a whopping 640 pound-feet of torque. So a good bit of torque for this engine. Really docile. Going to have power everywhere, and just a good solid piece. So I've got a video of the engine idling. If you are a fan of radical idles, this will not impress you in the least bit. This 117 lobe separation angle cam with low valve overlap and the individual runner carburetors, it just kind of sounds like blum 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 blum. So very mild. So we got about 15 seconds of the engine idling, and then we have a good hard pull. And when you listen to the pull, you will hear this thing howl. It's a totally different sound from a carburetor like we normally think about, and it likes to accelerate. So be a fun engine for Mr. Dennis, and I'm glad to get this one out of my shop. So what we're going to do next, I know how much horsepower we made. So Mr. Dennis sent me a Lakewood bell housing to dial in, and we need to buy a flywheel and a pilot bushing and a clutch kit. So normally I like to see about 10% more capacity on the clutch than I do on what the dyno numbers show. So we need to be somewhere around the 650 horsepower capacity range for our clutch. At this level, I would generally recommend a twin disc, but Dennis is running a big input top loader. So no McLeod RSTs, and McLeod does not make their street twin anymore. So we are limited to a single disc clutch. I'm going to put Mr. Dennis in a Ram Power Grip HD. They're rated for 650 horsepower. It's a centered iron disc on both sides. I've never heard of any of my customers complain about chatter with this clutch, but just know that the possibility is always there. They are not known for on and off light switch pressure plate engagement, but there is a possibility because of the friction material that it could chatter. So in the next couple days, I'll get all that stuff ordered, and we'll get our bell housing dialed in and the back end of this assembled, and then it's going in the crate, and then it's going to Georgia. So good deal. All right, guys, that's going to be it for this weekend. I'm going to take some time with the family and get some stuff done with them. I hope you will have a good long weekend off. Sprint with Lykins Motorsports. Talk to you next week.